guys, Coach Nick Gloff here with Team Camp Jansen, and this is my 5 weeks out prep update video. So this one's gonna be a short one, promise. Said that last time, ended up not being true, but I promise this time it'll be short. So short this time around because last week and this week we really haven't made any changes. We've been pretty much consistent with everything all the way through, up through the last week, the last update that I gave. So really nothing has changed. Cardio hasn't changed, steps haven't changed, food hasn't really changed, training really hasn't changed, aside from I ended up Friday. This Friday I training legs, first working set in on hack squat. I went down, got a couple of reps, and didn't feel anything while I was doing it, but then as soon as I re-racked it and I got up, it felt like I had gotten hit with a baseball bat right in the groin. So, and I mean groin is a literal sense, like it was just a general area, like everything from my waistband down to like mid-thigh, and then it kind of gave me a nauseous feeling. Like it was the pain and just a sensation itself. Aside from the pain, that was kind of like a nauseating feeling. And it lasted I walked around the gym trying to walk it off, quote unquote, for about an hour, with it really not getting any better. So I had thought to myself that I had probably given myself a bilateral inguinal hernia. So I got myself checked into a urgent care that's really close to this gym that I'm actually currently talking to you guys from, and they referred me out to a hospital to go and get some imaging done. And really possibly long story come short, is that I'm totally fine. The imaging came up negative. There was no signs that there was any like actual tissue damage. They just said that it was a really severe strain. And since then, yesterday, I went in and I attempted another leg day, but I removed axial loading, so I didn't squat or do RDLs or deadlifts of any kind or anything, and I didn't have any problems. So prior to that, the night before, me just trying to brace myself enough to stand up or to get down onto a knee or to grab my bag off the floor, like anything even remotely close to that was enough for me to be in really pretty bad pain. So a lot of progress was made, is really what I'm getting at here, is that from Friday to Saturday session, I was able to push pretty hard, did all accessory isolation type movements, and it all went really well. Didn't have any signs of a recurring strain. There was no pain, there was no problems. Everything went completely smoothly, non-issue. Today, Sunday, I just finished just now a pull session where I also pulled out my initial compound move, which was going to be a bent over barbell V-bar row. Pulled that out because I didn't want to risk it. And everything else, even with the kind of loading that I was doing and everything else, and still applying myself and pushing, no problems. So I'm happy to say that at least, like knock on wood, cross my fingers, it was just a fluke, and that strain was it just happened. It was just one of those weird accidental things that just kind of happens every once in a while. So I'm happy with the fact that I didn't sustain an injury that serious right now. It would have been really, really, really raining on my parade. So happy to say that that's not really an issue, but going forward, I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful with my loading on my compound work. So as things are counting down into the show, I'm going to have to be pushing up into a little bit higher rep targets. I already had higher rep targets set, and that's a regular within my training, but I don't always show all of the higher rep sets because, well, they take a long time, and Instagram is really where I put all my training anyway. And with a minute being the limit on how much you get to see, or I mean, it complicates things with stories. regardless. I don't often take video of those longer sets with those higher reps. I usually just take a video of the top set and then I just leave it at that, which is always going to be the heaviest and the lowest reps. So moving forward, I'm going to have to, for a handful of things, especially the things that I don't have fantastic coordination on, that I'm not like built to do well, or at least I've built myself into being good at, I'm gonna have to be a lot more careful with. So specifically things like hack squats, which is what hurt me. I've gotten hurt hack squatting a handful of times in a multitude of different ways that really don't seem to be all that connected to one another, but nevertheless has happened. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit more careful with that. I'd say for my more basic compound work, because I'm so adept to it and I've built so much skill within the patterns of doing things like front squatting, back squatting with just a barbell, doing RDLs and stiff legs and stuff of the like, I don't think that I'm going to have as many issues, just because I have built so much skill and so much resilience and a lot of coordination within those patterns specifically over the years and years and years that I've pushed my tolerance up on them. So I'm not saying that I'm going to disregard the fact that I am in a precarious position where an injury could just occur out of nowhere. I'm not going to disregard that fact when I'm doing my programming for my training and going through my training sessions themselves, but I'm also not going to shy away from doing the work that got me here. So I'm not going to just go to pumpy work that's, you know, just really not the way that I've always trained. I'm going to be pushing into higher rep targets for more of my volume, but I'm not going to entirely eliminate all of the harder, heavier work that I've always been good at doing. So that would be eliminating one of my greatest assets in what has got me here and what my training has always been, and that's where my resilience and my pattern recognition really lies. So that's just the way I am. That's the way I do things. That's the way it's always worked for me. It's worked pretty well for me up to this point. Not to say that I'm not going to adapt through my progression now through this prep and into the future. I'm not completely set in my ways in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers training. All in all, training is still going pretty well. There's good days, there's bad days. Today was a day where I walked in and I just had a headache. So it was just, you know, one of those things where just another kind of a fluke thing. You just not 100% for whatever reason, but you come in, you do the work, do the best you can, keep on trying to hit bigger, better numbers, keep your head on straight, stay focused, get in, get out, get done, finish. And that's kind of what today was, and there's those days interspersed within having really, really great sessions and some not so fantastic sessions, which is something to be aware of, that it's going to happen, and there's really nothing to do about it other than just get through it. So that's really the long and short. Like I said, diet, cardio, steps, that's all been pretty consistent. So it's just right now, for where we're at 5 weeks out, we're just continuing to go on with the plan. And that's really all I have to say as far as things are going. So that's it, guys. Not a super eventful video this time around, but keep your eyes peeled in the next couple of weeks, next couple of days even, and I will have some new cool stuff with the team to get you in on. So until next time, see you guys later.